How was the wedding and the birthdays? When we were setting this up, you had a busy week ahead of you.
Oh, it was, yeah, like this wedding was like a big thing on our calendar. And my girlfriend and their kid were like pretty much like telling me like, yeah, like you have to go. So I kind of was like, fuck. And then maybe like a couple, like 2 weeks before the wedding, a friend was like, hey, would you mind playing bass in this like random group of guys for the wedding? And I was just like, okay, fine. So it kind of gave me purpose for the wedding, which made it a lot more enjoyable for me because I felt like I would have been just, I don't know, twiddling my thumbs. But with that being said, I had to like learn 4 songs really quickly and we killed it. It was so fun. It was like the funnest wedding I'd ever been to. I'd only been to two, and to see everybody do like a conga line through the whole like place. They like started a conga line and went like through the kitchen, and the chef got in on it. And when I looked up, everybody was like congaing, if that's the word. I don't know, but it was fun. The weddings were really fun. It was at like a summer camp. Like they had rented a summer camp, so it was like everybody was pretty partied in bunks, and it was cool. It was really nice to be in some nature and by a body of water. And the birthdays, like I turned 36 on September 1st, and my girlfriend's kid turned 12 on September 2nd, and then also did their first day of high school. So it was like a big week of like adjustments and whatnot.
Yeah, that's huge. Like one of those would have been kind of an epic moment, but then like what, three or four of them in a week? That's pretty ambitious to take that on, but it sounds cool. The wedding sounds awesome.
Yeah, it was fun. Yeah, like it was just like I used to play in a band long ago, and I was fortunate enough to tour a lot, and it gave me that feeling of like, you know, being in a band again and playing with people, and it felt good to just, play music again.
And there are all these, like everyone else who was in the band for the wedding, are they all people you either didn't know or hadn't like previously played music with?
Fortunately, they were with my a friends. However, I was meeting the drummer for the very first time because they were flying in from Victoria, and then like we only had like 2 rehearsals with the drummer. So we had like a couple rehearsals without a drummer, and it was really intimate and it made it a lot more approachable. You could like sit and it wasn't so like loud. Someone's not like noodling over you while you're like trying to learn When a Man Loves a Woman on bass. It's, yeah, I don't know, but it was really fun to say the least. I would do it again.
Yeah, I was actually about to ask, has it kind of sparked an interest? Like, do you see like playing more bass in the future, like based on that experience?
In a wedding band or just in general?
Both, I guess. Like, does it make you miss playing bass any more than you missed it like before the wedding?
I think the act of just playing bass made me miss playing music in general. But I don't think I could join a wedding band. I don't think I'd be able to take it serious. I feel like some people who are in wedding bands, they learn those covers through and through. And I wouldn't be able to honor the songs seriously.
I guess it's a lot different, like when it's for a wedding, like a friend's wedding, or it's something you have a kind of a purpose to be at, and then it would be much different, like being a like a wedding band for hire.
Exactly. Like I didn't feel too shy to embarrass myself in front of like friends, you know.
That's the good. I mean, always, I'm always a little worried of embarrassing myself too, even in front of friends. So it's good to be able to muster up that courage. What can I quickly ask? Like, was I guess a band? Was that what you were doing kind of before Bug? Like, what made you stop being in this touring band?
So I've been playing music since I was like 16, like in and out of bands. And I wanted to like just be like a road dog. You know, I always wanted to be playing music. I was fortunate enough to like have some good opportunities to like travel to other different countries to play music. And it was like really fun and rewarding, but you know, sometimes it gets a little tired and you wish you could get a little more money, or you know, sometimes you're just like over it in general. And I think at that time I felt like I needed to like get my finances straight. And also I think I was like approaching that part of my life as where I was feeling a little over it too, you know, and I had to like redefine my relationship with music. So
And then did you quit kind of cold turkey, or did you like phase out the band and touring life?
well, it was a gradual phase out, if I'm honest. Like I felt like at that time there was just a lot of things happening, you know, like COVID being one of them. And, you know, it kind of like derailed a lot of what I was willing to suffer for. And I was just like, okay, like I think I should maybe focus on like some financial goals. And I got a job working in a high school right after. And then from that job, I started off as like a supervisor for students. And on the occasional little time, like I would like go into an empty classroom and I would start like playing guitar. And then like next thing I knew, like other kids were like asking me like, oh, like how do you hold this chord, or like how do you do that? And then I started getting like requests from like teachers to be like, hey, like this student finished work early, like do you mind like sitting with them in the computer room and like giving them like some guitar lessons? And then it just kind of like snowballed from that. And then I got a job as like a I guess like a music teacher at the next school I worked at. And then decided that working with teenagers kind of sucks. And I had to not be around young people like that. So I quit.
My guess is that it can be extremely rewarding, and then on the other hand, it can be very hectic and like draining. You know, kids of that age are learning so much about them and about other people, and then to kind of throw you in the mix of all that, like whether you know how much or how little you were a part of it, it still must have been like quite taxing at times.
I mean, like when I officially got a job as like a music teacher, I thought like I had made it to the league, you know what I mean? Like I was like, oh, I'm like set. They gave me a classroom. I like set up the classroom perfectly. But like, mind you, I was working in the behavioral sector, right? So like a lot of the kids were very high energy, you know, and it just got tiring to like try to like rally kids to like be like into music because you know what I mean? Like it's it's music, you know, and it's not like math and it's not like science, you know, it's like something light, and some kids were just like more on the fence of just being like, I'm just gonna chill. And that's totally fine. But like, trying to like show kids how to like do things that they're kind of interested in, but trying to like inspire them, it was kind of difficult because like at that age, there's like a high level of defiance,
Yeah.
and you could be showing them like whatever, you know what I mean? And if someone is not open to like what you want to show, uh, then it's going to be a tough thing. And I found that like I was losing that battle a lot because, you know, um, yeah, like other things were more exciting, like basketball, which I get too. Like I would prefer to play basketball sometimes too, but I didn't want to like argue with anybody or like be an authoritative figure and like be like, you have to learn how to play this White Stripe song or else I fail you. Like there's just no way I'm doing that. It's just like, well, all right, you guys like Chief Keef, like let's show you what O Block is like. You know what I mean? And then like we'd show like the producer Young Chop, and then everyone, it ended up being like me showing like videos on how to make certain things, and then that's when like everybody started kind of getting more into it.
I feel like, I mean, that it could be draining in a way too, because it might even like take a bit of the fun out of the playing of music. Like for you, just to have something you're kind of passionate about, you're showing it to these kids and they're not all receiving it the same way. I could see that like being defeating in a way, and then like the kind of compounding defeat would just, I mean, me personally, that would like eat away at me. You probably lasted longer than I would in that scenario, it sounds like.
I did a bit and I tried my best, and like high schools are really strange, I think. And I'm not like a super serious guy like that. Like I'm not trying to be like the the commander, like I'm so like all right, like you guys aren't in the mood, like I can't force you to like be down, so maybe we'll listen to like a song while you guys like figure it out.
Did you have any experience like being kind of a boss or like delegating or enforcing rules before that? Or was that kind of the first time that you imposed regulations on people?
I don't think I imposed anything. I think like I was like like you know I wanted to facilitate fun, you know what I mean? And I set it up, the classroom up in a way where like that was possible, with the least amount, you know what I mean? Like everybody was like sitting towards like my computer. It was kind of like set up like a live stream, and my biggest class was maybe like 6 students, 7 students. So it was like, yeah, like if one student's in a bad mood, it's pretty easy to feel a person's bad mood in a crowd of six.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's like 20% almost to one kid.
Yeah, so like because like I knew the circumstances were very unique, and I understood that like just the fact that student presence is a big deal. Like you know what I mean, that shouldn't like I should pick and choose the battles that I want to engage in, and I was very mindful of that because like a lot of the kids that I worked with were definitely from some history, to say the least. And like I just wanted to be like somebody who could like, I don't know, goof off with. And yeah, and I tried my best to like make things more lighthearted and like just showing like kids like fun stuff, like not like I feel like when I was in school, in high school, and I was learning music, like our teachers would show us like, like rock music. And there's nothing wrong with like rock music. I know that's like a huge umbrella term, but a lot of these kids were more interested in like what's current to them. And I was really happy to show them that, and I was like, those were like the best classes when like we got to like dig in on like um young chop and like how he learned how to chop samples and like what got him inspired, and and show like other like cool producers that like a lot of these kids like really liked, like I remember a lot of the students were super into like I don't even remember his name right now, but we would listen to a lot of it, and they just wanted to like learn how to make beats like that. And I was just like, oh, like that's easy. And then we would just go through like a really like basic process on like how to map something out. And yeah, those were like the classes that I cherished, where like the ones where I was showing them something and everybody was like asking questions and being like super involved, like yeah.
My guess is even the few kids that might not have resonated most with, probably later in life at some point they're gonna think about like what a cool class that was, and they're gonna like think about their teacher, their instructor, and like how that was such a cool thing that was kind of underrated at the time. Like that's how I worked too. Like I had plenty of teachers and instructors in school that were doing good things that I might not have really bought into then, but then when I think about them now, it's like that teacher deserved like the utmost respect, and like that was such a cool thing that they were doing. So hopefully people think about you like that in the future.
I mean, I hope so. Like, I wasn't assigning like crazy homework, like I think like I made the kids do like one assignment, and the assignment was to make a 3-song playlist that was like a happy song, a sad song, and a song that makes you feel energized. And like getting those playlists was awesome. I was like, damn, like we got like something cooking here, and it was cool.
Do you remember like what was the best three-song selection? Like did anyone stand out to you?
Uh, I don't remember off top, but there was one student who like found out about Smashing Pumpkins and got hooked off of the song, and just like would come in before class and just sit there and listen to this Smashing Pumpkins song. It's like the big hit. Like, oh, I'm drawing a blank on it right now.
Oh, I can't think of the name either, but I know like I think the music video had like some sort of washing machine in it.
Yeah, exactly that. And like he would come in and listen to it and just be like kind of in bliss, like I was just like, damn, like he gets it. He's listening to it loud, and like constantly.
That's so cool. Like, and then you, whether how like directly or indirectly you were a part of that, you still, I would say, were sort of the catalyst for that kid finding out about Smashing Pumpkins, which is like one of the cooler things that they could really learn in school. I think if I'm right, the song is probably called Tonight Tonight.
That is it. That's the one. I wanted to say like 19 something, but it is tonight.
Oh, I think they do have another like one of their more popular ones is a date as well. So it could be either. I'm not like I mean I love that band. I'm not like an aficionado. I don't know everything, and I'm not like pulling it up on Google. Yes, I could, but I remember tonight and the video with the washing machine.
Yeah, it's a banger for sure. Buddy was down. It was really cute to like watch him just kind of like listen to it back to back.
So, I mean, kind of a drastic shift in the questioning. That's kind of on brand for here. But are you like born and raised in Montreal?
No, actually, I've been living in Montreal now for like, I think like 15 years, 16 years maybe. Um, but I am from Windsor, Ontario, and my parents are refugees from Laos. So during the Vietnam War, they like came to Canada. Well, a lot of my family chose to land in Detroit, and my mom wanted to be Canadian, and so chose Windsor.
Which is like, I mean, I'm not that up to date on all my geography, but isn't that right across the like water from Detroit?
Yeah, it's there's like a river. It's the Detroit River, and yeah, it's a pretty sight from our end. Like I grew up like watching and staring at the Detroit skyline, and like when you leave it for a long time, you kind of take it for granted on like I don't know how nice it is.
I grew up in Kitchener, Ontario, so kind of close to Windsor, I guess.
Yeah, Kitchener Waterloo area.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Which I mean, I hear it's actually kind of like popping there lately, but I left. I mean, it wasn't that cool when I lived there, and there wasn't that much going on. And now, when I talk to like friends or I look online at what's happening, it seems like way more. Like I was always kind of like blown away by how there wasn't that much of a direct effect of Toronto, even though it's so close. But now it seems like it's becoming a little bit more like a big city and like taking some influences from Toronto.
Yeah, I haven't been to Kitchener in a while. If I'm honest with you, like, oh yeah, it's been a long, long time. I just remember, was there like an old punk house there called the Sweat Lodge? I don't know. Maybe that might be a different place, but
I mean, I have no idea. I would have been gone before I would have known about anything cool like that, but I really like the sounds of that. And I kind of want to learn a bit more about it if it did exist. And to be honest, that does sort of sound like something that might be incubated in Kitchener. Like they do have some kind of quirky stuff like that going on.
yeah, yeah, there were a lot of cool bands. I'm drawing a blank on some right now, but like that is Kitchener part of Niagara?
I think so. Yeah, I uh again like I'm horrible at this type of stuff, but I think so.
All right, yeah,
How does what's like the rules in Montreal? I know like some cities they want people you gotta live there for a long time before you can kind of like claim that you're a local.
yeah.
But like are you allowed to like claim Montreal after 15 years? Like that seems like a very significant stint. Like I would think that that's official.
Yeah, I like, I don't know. I guess it depends on who you ask, but I think my freak flag is planted firmly here. Like, there's nowhere else I could be if I'm honest with you. Like, Montreal's just, you know, it's a love-hate place, you know what I mean? And there's like times where it's just so worth it to be here. And then, just like anywhere, I feel like you question your existence here.
Yeah, yeah, that I mean I question my existence pretty much anywhere I am, right? And so I think you could find a way to do that anywhere, but
hmm I just like think like for myself, I don't know where else I could go, like I'm not gonna go back to Windsor. There's just really not too much there for me. Like I have a lot of family there. Um, and I'm not really down to move to Toronto, if I'm honest. I just don't think I could afford it with my lifestyle. And Vancouver, I've actually just never been to the West Coast. So maybe, I don't know. I'd have to go and visit.
I was gonna ask actually if you've lived anywhere else, like if you've tried out any other cities in that 15.
Uh, I mean, I've lived in like London, Ontario, and did a small like few months in Toronto, but nothing meaningful like Montreal. I feel like yeah, like this is home.
Is it getting like more expensive? I remember like when I was younger and everyone wanted to move there from here. All my Vancouver friends wanted to be there. It was like shockingly cheap, it seemed. But then like whenever I get a report lately, it seems like everything is a bit more expensive. Like what's your take on the cost of Montreal lately?
I would agree, I think like yeah, the time is different now, and it's for sure like the cheaper places are a rare thing to find, and it is increasing here, but again, like I just try to make it work to the best of my ability, and I'm thankful that I'm able to. So for now, like I'm down, but if it gets any more pricier, I might have to commit crime or something.
What do you do in the winter? Like how do you make all that work?
Um, Honestly, like I I have yet to figure out a real good system. And I know that sucks because I've lived here for so long, that I should have had like a more winter thing dialed down. But um, like yeah, I just try my best to do anything that will keep me active. But um I'm losing my creativity on it, and I'm just getting more disgruntled day by day as it gets colder.
Yeah, where I am, we have I would think maybe like kind of comparable in winters, and I haven't really figured out the winter either. I've been here for so long, but I kind of use the winter almost as a way to like hibernate and like just try to like get better at whatever I'm doing. So like something that I want to be better at in the summer, I'll take the winter to kind of like marinate on it and like just think about it more, like try to eat better, sleep more, like just do all the like things I can do for me over the winter until it's like nice enough to kind of thaw out and go back outside for the summer. So do you like do any of that? Is winter a time for you to like perfect what you found in the summer?
I guess yeah, sometimes I never really thought of it like that because like I'm always trying to uh like perfect something, and I don't know. I just need to start tracing progression more instead of perfection.
Yeah, I didn't always have that either. It's
Yeah.
like that's kind of more recently I've like thought about, all right, I'm gonna be locked up inside for the winter. What should I do with that time? It wasn't always like that. I wish I had figured that all out a bit earlier, but
Like I'm a sucker. Like I'm a cozy guy, like in the winter, like I'm down to watch a movie, and if there's a dog involved, oh, I'm petting that dog and I'm watching a movie.
yeah, yeah, no, that's I mean, really I couldn't think of anything better to do with like the winter months either. Just watch a lot of stuff, hang out with my dog, talk to people. I mean, doing these boards is easy in the winter because I can be cozy at home, just chatting on Zoom and stuff.
Yeah, like I feel like, as I get older, I do aspire to like achieve that lock-in status, so I can like really like focus. But it's hard because like I approach everything a little too freeform. And yeah, like I don't have any good systems.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's better that way though. Like some people are gonna thrive off that, like a bit of organized chaos. So maybe
Yeah,
if you did have more of a structure, that might actually detract from any of the stuff you're doing. Like I don't know, but yeah, sometimes personally, I think that too.
right.
Okay. I guess I should officially ask you about bug. When I went back on the account, and obviously that the internet isn't the be all and end all definition of what something is, but I see the first post was in 2022. So is that when bug was officially founded and launched?
Yeah, I would say so. But if I'm honest with you, like it feels like it's been kind of inside me forever. Like I just like, yeah, like had been like quietly like thinking and tinkering away. And I think in 2022 is when I finally built enough courage to just do it.
So, like, when you were younger, did you have aspirations to own a company in skateboarding, or like, was the aspiration just to have a company in something?
I think like when I was younger, like I always wanted to know that like I would skate into my like future, or like be a part of it into my late adulthood. Like I always wanted to like have that in my life, because it was so cool. Like I was a part of like a cool ecosystem in my small town where there was like a really great shop, and that feeling I got, I like knew that like that's what I wanted to do like forever, whatever that was, like as ambiguous that as that may be. Like I knew that I wasn't going to be a pro skater. I'll say that. But like I was so down for anything skating, and I just felt like it had to be like something that I at least tried to pursue. And um like playing in a band, you get the often that like association, like playing music is like skating, like whatever people that famous comparison is. And it's kind of true. Like I felt like after my music chapter closed, I was like, okay, like what am I afraid of? And um a friend of mine was just like, fuck it, do it. And I just did it. I put my life savings in and wrote a letter and was like, okay, like I was at. And in a couple weeks, I had the first boards.
And what, like, did it get as you were doing this? Did it get not easier, but was it like less stressful, or did it become more stressful once you realize like you've gone all in, you've put your savings into this? Like I could see some people that like maybe alleviating a bit of tension, but some people it might increase the tension.
Um, I think like the stress level always kind of like tethers between like high and low, or high and none, you know? And when I like put in my life savings, I feel like I was like had convinced myself that I was just like, okay, like I'm down to deal with any consequence. And that was like the thing that kind of was like, okay, like if I understand that, like I'm I'm just gonna go for it. And then I was just like, okay, boom, let's go. And then that was it. I don't know. I don't know if that was a good answer, Wes, but
No, no, the great answer. I sometimes like I mean everything is a bit of an isolated incident, but I think like for me and for a lot of people I talk to, they kind of just like diving in and like getting like starting it and then kind of like learning as you go. Like I personally, like I say, like if you sit and think about this type of thing for a long time, you're never gonna do it because there's always a reason not to, and there's always like logic that comes in that might make you like not do it. But I think you just like one day pulling the trigger, putting all your money in like that, like me personally, that would kind of set it off to be working in a way, like just that initial step and like me deciding I'm all in, money spent, like this is real now. That kind of like is what I guess that's what makes it real for everyone. But that's like when I'm doing something, it's like that moment once I'm like, all right, I don't know if this will work or not, but I'm all in. That's kind of like the when it all starts, and then when I figure out the hard way like how everything is gonna work out. So if I sit and think about things for too long, they're never gonna happen. So I sometimes have to like just dive in and spend money and figure it out the hard way.
yeah, I like by no means am I like a financial guru or I'm good with money, like there's, like everything is like from the heart. Like I bootstrapped this shit, and I like was just tired of feeling like I wasn't gonna make the attempt, and what the relief came like momentarily, when I like did the thing, and like it was like up until the point where I got the first boards, I was just like, like kind of in like a weird state where I was like, I did it, like they're coming. I would like watch every day the tracking number and like, and be like, holy shit, like the time is coming. And when they arrived, I like got a phone call and then like was like, okay, like I'm on my way. And I just zooted to the shop and then like holding my boards, and was like, damn, like it's happening, and it just, I don't know, like something in me like compelled me to just go for it and not to make too many excuses because like I needed to try this uh project or this venture. uh I just needed to try, and I knew that I wouldn't be able to like really, really forgive myself if I didn't make an honest attempt at my dream.
Was Bug always gonna be the name for it, or did you like go back and forth? Were there some contenders, or it was always Bug?
There were so many names. I have like pages of like names for bands, names for anything, and um I I was like going through a lot of names. Like I remember I wanted to name it like Head or like Big Head, and like I don't know, that was like not that fresh. And I was like, oh, what else, and I liked like really small words with like a certain amount of letters. I didn't want it to be more than five, and I didn't want it to be like whatever. And uh I just saw like on the list of names that I wrote down Bug, and I was like, all right, let's just go with this.
I'm the exact same way. Like my girlfriend and friends of mine probably look at this stuff and think. I mean, I am kind of insane in this way, but I have like lists of names for everything too, like zine titles, band name. Like I've never played an instrument, but I would have a list of names that could be applied to a band. I'm like always way overthinking it and then thinking about how many letters and do I want a single word or double or like how many uh
Yeah.
yeah, it's just it I definitely relate to that. Like I mean I also chose nowhere fast and then stuck with it forever. So I'm not really like flip flopping on names, but I definitely have like lit like pages and field notes, books, and everything of names. And I'm sure anyone outside of my own brain would look at these and think like this is kind of insane. And someone would think about these so much, but I know for sure what it's like to be burdened by the interest of names.
Yeah, like and they're fucking written on like terrible pieces of paper, like wrappers. Like I'm like, oh, why did I, and write this random word down? Or like sometimes my girlfriend will say something really sick and I'll write it down and I'm like, I don't know, a receipt. And I'm like, oh, I gotta remember this. And I don't know. Yeah, it's so fun to do. Like it's just addictive. Like yeah, I like that stuff.
Yeah, I think I mean a good name can go a long way, and a bad name I think can
Yeah.
also go a long way. And I think a lot of people, I mean, it's not right or wrong, but I think a lot of people might not put the thought in naming something that I would. And like sometimes I think that's great. Like they aren't burdened by the overthinking of all this, but then sometimes I hear a name or I'm not thinking of anyone specifically, but I'll see a company done extremely well. Like everything about what they do is great, but then the name, I
Yeah.
think like I wish I wish that name was different. Like that would be my favorite brand and I would wear it every day, but the name for some reason like isn't really meshing with me.
Yeah, it's the same for bands too. It's like you want to like a band that has good songs, but their name is not good. It's a little rough. And I was going in with the same thing too. Like, I don't know. I guess I got lucky, but also like I feel like nothing is really that original anymore because like who knows? Like I feel like there's already another bug, like in Germany, it's like a crew, but like I don't know if you've ever seen their videos, but they're sick, you know what I mean? And it's
Yeah, there's maybe not too many, but there's a lot of people in the world like doing their own projects, and everything is kind of starting to bleed together because of social media. Like, same with like, I used to think about like graffiti when I was a kid too, and like you had to have a name
yeah.
that no one else in the world had. But then, like, just the more I kind of followed that subculture and saw, like, there's different. I mean, there's graffiti in every city and every, like, all over the world. Of course, someone's written that word, like, and they're not biting and like they're not emulating styles. It's just like words get recycled. Of course, there's too many like people needing words for things these days. So I'm sure there's other nowhere fast. There's I hadn't actually heard of this other bug, but yeah, there. I mean, even the most obscure word, there's got to be like multiple of things.
I mean, like it's cool because like if we're getting like really weird with it, like there's so many different types of skaters and there are so many different types of species of insects. So of course there's going to be another bug, you know what I mean, in skateboarding, like just to like, you know, tie it into a random ass loop. But like I'm not worried about it. And like what they do is incredible. Like the European skateboarding lens is like so deep and like they really go, like
Yeah, I mean, it's nice that you're gonna taking it with a grain of salt too, because people, I mean, especially graffiti people, they get like really bent out of shape about like the ownership of these
yeah.
words, and like no one wants anyone else to use this word in like a band, even like a song title or something that like minimal can be like really, people like feel like they own these things, but it's nice that it doesn't seem to keep you up at night at all. Like you're just happy someone else is doing cool stuff under the same moniker.
Yeah, like I think they are a crew, and I've pretty much been like, well, if they're the crew, then I guess we're the boards. So bug skateboards it is, and I'm really not gonna like if they send a cease and desist, I would frame that shit and like be like, damn, first cease and desist, let's go. Like I'm doing
Yeah.
something right.
Of course. I always actually tell people, see, maybe not every situation, but a cease and assist is kind of a positive rite of passage. Like I also like I haven't got one, but if I ever did, I think I would probably be heading down the road of like framing it and it becoming like a pride thing for me and what I'm doing as well.
Yeah, like I mean, I love skateboarding, and I think it's like, I do take it passionately, or I do think about skateboarding passionately, and I'm a general fan, but I obviously like I'm not trying to like ruffle anybody's feathers too much, like whatever. If they have the same name, that's great. Like, but we're not skating the same.
Yeah, yeah, of course. Yeah, very. I mean, a healthy head on your shoulders and that stuff. I've talked to even I've probably in the past been not as lenient with names being used twice, but it's inevitable. Kind of the older I get, I realize it for sure will happen, and then just the way you approach it, the way I could approach it, that's like what really matters.
I think though, I am being like maybe like I'm just being cautious, because like I definitely could be a bit of a knucklehead, but like I'm not trying to make myself sound like I'm like this model skateboard owner,
Yeah,
like I'm not like the best at life, like sometimes I really do like overthink shit in every facet, and like as an older dude who's on the verge of becoming like an old head, like I really don't want any of that like uh you know negative energy that's comes with being that.
yeah.
So like I think like the more and more I speak out publicly, I like actually want to be like, yeah, it's a little more like open and inviting, but like I'm learning, you know what I mean? Like it's like the thing I'm doing is trying to like um evolve as a good person who just happens to run a skateboard company.
For sure, and like the awareness of that, I think is gonna go quite far for you as well. Like some people gonna sit and like marinate in negativity, and it's not good for anyone really. So to like approach something like that with like an open mind is, I think, just beneficial for everyone, at least like positivity wise.
Yeah, like I like you can ask anybody like who knows me well, like I am a top tier overthinker, and I can easily get like lost in it, but like I don't want to struggle like that, you know what I mean? So like I'm trying to be more conscious of it as life progresses, because like this is something that I really love. And sometimes I apply a lot of pressure on Bug, and it sometimes bleeds into like my personal life because, like it's just me who's like running it and I get a lot of help, but like I often have to be the spokesperson for it. And it gets tough because like um some people expect you to be like always like the 100% nice guy, which I hope that I am for the most part. But like I like to also have like my days where I'm like a little bummed and I'm like, like maybe I like, you know, I'm not going to be in the greatest, happiest state, but I'm just trying to be real, I guess, by showing both sides. Like maybe I'm babbling.
No, no, like the average person for sure, but would fluctuate between the two. So just being kind of open about, you can have either or day. That also like a good awareness to go into all this with. Like some people might
Yeah.
not be aware of that, or they might know, but they try to like shy away from it and not own it really. So I mean that it all sounds like a good, like the best approach.
Yeah. Like the one thing's for sure, if someone is talking to me about bug and is like, has something to share, like I feel so fortunate and like I'm super thankful for anybody who's like rocked with it since day one. But like, like sometimes life is life and like you're like closer with some people now and then like later, like you're not. And it's okay. You know what I mean? Like skateboarding is kind of funny, because um it's like one thing that like makes you meet such a different variety of people. And um yeah, like it's hard to like always make sure that like everyone's thinking about you in a really good light, and sometimes I trip out about that a lot because like I want to be like someone who could be like a pillar in the community, but like I also like I like to smoke weed at the skate park. You know what I mean? And just chill and like maybe do a terrible accent or something, you know.
Yeah, you definitely gotta. I mean, have as much fun as possible while maintaining a brand. But no, I also enjoy having fun over everything really, and then I'm trying to figure out ways to balance that as well. Be a little more polished and professional sometimes, but still be able to have all the fun I can while doing it.
I mean, like, I'm not belligerent by any means. I'm not like getting sauced out at the park. I'm, I'm literally learning how to switch ollie and like dumb stuff like that, like tic tacking all around the park. And I don't know. I'm like one of the worst things too. I'm a headphone skater, so like I get maybe more vibes for being that kind of guy.
Is that found on in Montreal?
I don't know. I think it's like personal preference, but honestly, like I really enjoy skating with music. And although I get the social aspect of it, but I don't know. When you frequent a park so much, sometimes you really don't need to be talking to all the locals every day. Like a nice check-in is fine, but you know, I'd rather listen to that new record or something and you know catch up.
For sure, I mean, in that situation, I think I might lean towards the headphones as well.
Yeah, like I mean, it's nice when you don't have it. Like you can have a session without, but like fuck it. I'm a grown ass man, and if anybody has something to say, they can tell me personally. But
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I everyone sees so much like Montreal skateboarding online, and I can kind of like from seeing it from a distance, I can sort of assume what the culture is like. But in your own words, what like can you describe the Montreal skate scene?
I mean, at the risk of sounding corny, I think it's like the word would be diverse. There's a skater in all different archetypes here. But Montreal is just um I don't know. I don't know how to describe the skating because I feel like people here are really, really, really good at skating and have like the full thing down, like great style, great outfits, but like maybe don't take it too seriously. And I find like maybe skaters from like other cities that come to Montreal are more like uh, in awe of like the potential of all the spots there, and I don't know. I guess I wouldn't really know how to describe it. I just know that it's deep, you know, it's really, really like diverse.
I mean, that's actually great. Like a lot people are, it's kind of a talent in itself to be able to describe something in one word. And I understand. Like that one word gives me a good like depiction of what's happening. Like, I mean, don't ever apologize for like a short, concise answer. I can pull from that and that. I mean, has there always been like such a huge scene in Montreal, or is that kind of more recently? Like it seems, is everything is kind of like exposed a lot online, so it seems like anything you look at online, there's more of it. It's just I feel like I've seen more Montreal content in skating like in the past maybe decade. Like when you grew up, was it as advanced or is that new?
Um, that's a really good question. I feel like it might be a little unfair of me to like say because like uh I didn't like fully come up skating here, And um like when I was younger in my early 20s, there were like groups of people doing really unique stuff. Like JC, I forget his last name. I want to say like JC something, I don't know, but he made these two videos called Sensitive Shredders 1 and 2, and it had like a lot of like Halifax people in it, and yeah, a lot of East Coast people and some locals like ET was in a few edits, and uh Leon too, like yeah. So like there was that unique group of skaters like Simon. Oh, I'm blowing in on his last name right now. And Ben Patterson. Oh no, it's not Ben Patterson, or Patterson's not his last name, but Ben, uh, great skater. Stuart Mitchell. Oh my God, Stu is like probably low key one of my favorite skaters in Montreal. But he's or no, East Coast dude, Nova Scotia. And I don't know, like early dime guys. Like I remember seeing Charles and Phil and Antoine. They'd like come to my work often for food. Kyle McDonald, like the studio guys. Um, I think like there was this video that I really watched a lot. It was called like Elephant, um, Deponder Elephant or Direct Elephant. I'm fucking up the names, but those videos were great. Like Jay and Daryl, when Daryl was like alive, I would see him and be like, "Damn, that's Daryl," and kind of trip out because I grew up in London, Ontario, and he's also from London too, and um, I would see him skate Vic Park there, and then see him here in Montreal, and that was really special to see. And I don't know, like there's Alex Gavin too, who's like big time OG. Like, I don't know, there's something really cool about Gavin. Like he's like super soft spoken, and um it's always random to see him in the city because I feel like I don't know, like I would see him in this like streets just pushing switch all the way up Saint Laurent. And I'm like, damn, like that's so sick. But yeah, like I couldn't really speak on like your initial question.
You think or it used to be easier for all these people, like their video parts and stuff, to stand out because there wasn't just so much stuff like diluting everything? Like, do you think now there's more people and more videos, so people like don't have as much of a lasting name?
Maybe. Honestly, I think like with skateboarding and the power of the internet and how like constant it is, it's like, if you were putting out video parts maybe like 10 years ago and you've taken a break, I feel like perhaps you might get a little left, you know, because there's so many people in this city that are just constantly producing things. And like Dime is like it's a really impressive beast, like seeing them start from just like selling DVDs to like what they are now, it's like huge, and we like a huge success of like the Montreal skates, or excuse me, a huge success for the Montreal skate scene was probably the people who were affiliated with Dime. Like those videos were so different. They were like the perfect meeting of like amazing skating with like virality. And yeah, like that should just really hit for everybody. And they really put Montreal on the map for that kind of thing.
I feel like maybe I don't know as much about them as I should. Is that how it all started? Was they were like a video company first?
I don't know if they were a video company. I think they just started like doing like uh friend stuff, like just like shirts and hats from what I gather. And then they made like the Dime DVD, and then I think like that like sold really well and then like got them to do more. And I don't know, I just like I can't really say too much because I don't know all the lore about them, but I just know that like if it wasn't for Dime, maybe a lot of people wouldn't be visiting the city as much. Like they're like the ambassadors for like anybody coming to town. And this past weekend with the Glory Challenge, it was like solidified that even more. Like holy shit, they really do uh, put Montreal on the map.
Yeah, that thing just gets more and more extravagant every year. It's like quite impressive to watch. Like just through my phone and like see how many people and how big it gets. It's quite incredible.
I like think that like whatever their recipe is, it's just working, and it's incredible and remarkable to see like how they can just pull an audience, and um it's cool because like I remember sitting down at Van Horn with Phil, and I was just like asking him questions, picking his brain, and it was like him just like giving me the opportunity, and he like gave me so much great advice and told me like just keep doing it the best to your ability, like your goal is to last, you know and that kind of like you know resonated with me huge because I was like, you're right, like he was like, focus on a group, like it's the group, you know and just try your best to last, it's the thing.
Definitely good advice, right? Personally, I don't like kind of flash in the pan type things, like a legacy, things lasting a while and like changing gradually over time. That's like what I gravitate more towards. So I love that that's kind of the ethos of Bug, and then I love that he kind of imparted that device because that's I feel like the best advice you could really get, like if you're setting out to have something with staying power.
Yeah, like, he could have just been like humoring me, but I really like see what Dime is to the city, and I'm like, it's impressive, because my dream is to be able to be a facilitator like them, like I would love to like be able to like, you know, in my own way, like help people with like what they need, you know, whether it's like a job or product or like advice, like um it's great. It's super cool as for like anybody who's like up and coming, and like you just have this like person who's in between like a tennis match and eating like the $5 gnocchi at the skate park real quick. And I'm a small brand owner, and I like asking this person who's running like a big deal, like I think like they had finished signing like Andrew Reynolds and shit, and I was just like, this is crazy, and like I should just ask, like what do I have to lose? And he was super nice, and he gave me like his time, and I'm thankful for that. Although like, like I love Dime, I in terms of like what they are, but like um I know how different Bug is, so like it's cool.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's also kind of a skill in itself. I see for like someone to be able to like tell these things apart, and not just wanna like everyone's got a company from where they are that's kind of like done well, and I feel some people want to do exactly what that company did, which I feel like there's only one done. Like if you're trying to replicate exactly what they do, it's not gonna work for the person trying to do that. So that also like the kind of theme of our talk, I guess, is me being impressed with your awareness, but that's also like great awareness to realize like they've done good and they've done a lot of stuff, but you don't want to be exactly like that at all. Like Bug is gonna be like quite different, and that's like a huge benefit, especially like I mean, does something like that put pressure on you or anyone really in the skate scene? Does that make people feel like they need to have brands that kind of like do what they did, or do skaters like feel the pressure to like be as good as their people are, or like does everyone just kind of exist like respecting it but not really needing to emulate it?
I think you know it's all subjective, you know and skateboarders are really funny because they follow these ambiguous rules that are like you know nonsense, and there are really like no rules, you know what I mean? And it's just kind of funny how like a lot of skateboarders are really deep in terms of what they want to ride, and how they approach uh, get garnering brands attention, to ride for them, or like, yeah, fuck, I don't even know if I answered your question.
I Well, I don't know either. To be honest, I think you did for sure. Yeah, I almost lost it like in listening as well, but I think for sure.
I hope. But I don't know, to anybody who's listening, I hope they really understand that I'm giving you the utmost honest from the heart answers. And I'm not trying to offend anybody. but I also am bothered by certain things in skateboarding too, you know, and it's really hard to like want, you know, uh, success in terms of like a fruitful business, but also it's a little exhausting to like make sure that like you're up with trends, or if like the skating is good enough, or if the direction is where it's going. Like I do get tangled in that, and it's often not healthy.
Oh, for sure. Like if you've kind of described yourself as like classic overthinker, I think that would lend itself to exactly what you're talking about. Like, of course, if you think a lot, you're gonna put thought into all the like moving pieces of the culture. And as someone who is like focused on staying power, but also like community aspect and like what you can do to facilitate this for everyone else, of course, like I can see someone paying attention to detail like that also being a bit thrown off by certain aspects of the culture on certain days.
Yeah, because most skaters can be, for the most part, like great humans, but I feel like um being good at skateboarding is like the easy part, and then being a good person is the trickier one.
Yeah, no, I love that. I like that a lot. I understand the sentiment of that. That's good.
And like I will meet like a really grumpy skater and they'll shred, like they'll be so good, and I'm the first one to be that person's cheerleader despite them being a fucking ass, you know and I think yeah, like I don't care if you're grumpy, but if you're doing like, you know I don't know, a front five over like thing, I'm gonna be like, oh shit, nice. I don't know, maybe that sounds dorky, but
You gotta like respect where respect is due. I agree with that. Like almost like I mean maybe this is a bit too far, but like separating the art from the artist. Yes, like
yeah.
someone who's good at skating but doesn't really have the greatest demeanor, you still gotta acknowledge how good at skating they are.
Yeah, and and this is what I mean, that like it's all subjective. Like people are so fascinated with like technicality and whatnot, but sometimes technicality doesn't translate that well over film. And then like people who are overly technical aren't uh analytical enough to see like the composition and like the way that the skater's approaching the obstacle, or like even things like color. It's yeah, like I don't know, maybe that's like a cheesy.
No, no, I think it's perfect for sure. Like that, yeah. It's I mean, again, like another kind of hidden talent is being able to kind of like give enough thought to all lanes of this and kind of assess the whole thing and go into it that way. And it seems like you're maybe overthinking too, but also like just considering all of it. And like then you have a more informed, you're just more informed to like move forward with bug.
Yeah, like um I really take in, uh maybe, I don't know, I could be called out for this, but like I really take in like the, I don't know, fuck, how do I say this without sounding too crazy? But I really take in a lot of consideration, and it's my double-edged sword for me. And I think like the reason why I'm so like um maybe sensitive about like uh the topic of like what is deemed good skating and what is deemed bad skating, it's because like spent the last couple years like filming and editing video parts and submitting them to like publications and like trying to get a response, and then you get ghosted, and then like one one publication will be like, oh, like keep, but we don't want to discourage you from resubmitting, and then you start like resubmitting and they like never show you any love. And then like the last video I did was called For You, and I really wanted to put it out on a bigger platform just to like you know see. And I reached out, and I don't want to like say the publication's name, but I reached out to a person involved with them, and their response was a little like, I don't know, sad, because their response was like, oh, like the filming, the editing, and the animations were great, but the skating's just not there. And I just felt like, damn, you know what I mean? Like like that's where it's like subjective, and like I feel like a lot of people are so used to like stunts and flips and technicality, and those videos are so valid, but like also having a video that showcases like, I don't know, uh something more thoughtful, and um maybe through the lens of like an average skater, because most people that I'm filming are like doing it for fun, and sometimes when you skate in the streets, it's pretty risky, there's a lot of room to get hurt. And I'm like so thankful to be able to capture that, and I don't know, to get a response where it's like, oh, it's not there, but it's like, damn, maybe you're not.
It's gotta be like extremely painful. Like, it's your project. You've like filmed, edited, made the animations. This is like kind of your baby, and then to hear back one part of it isn't really like, isn't up to whoever's standard. That like I'm assuming even not an overthinker would be kind of sensitive to that. Someone who's like really picking it all apart, like you sound to be, that gotta be like quite painful. So for sure, I get that, and that sucks.
Yeah, because like, you know, I'm the filmer as well. I'm like, it's like you and the skater, and you both are trying to like play a role. And I'm also like the person who like edits. And I have to like always make sure that like the person is like presented properly. And yeah, like I don't know. I just wish that like skateboarding could be like, I don't know, not so serious at times, but yet somewhat serious. I don't know.
Oh, like even just in life, I constantly say that exact thing. Like I wish certain things weren't. I mean, maybe they were taken seriously enough to like do them at a precise level, but not as serious, and not like draining all the fun, and not like offending people whose projects they are. So I get you're saying with skating, but I think that about almost everything in life, every day.
Yeah, and like I'm so thankful to like have friends be a part of the project. And the reason why I take the hit so hard is because it's sentimental, like uh I understand the nuance of it all, in terms of like what's it like to like bike across town and to get this trick, and that feeling of triumph, landing the trick, and that feeling of sadness from biking away from the spot where you didn't get the trick, or that painful moment where someone like cracks their collarbone and you're like, fuck, like, and just to like want to showcase something that is like a from the heart, like a love letter, to everybody on the internet, uh, it it's like a big deal, for like a small brand like me, I guess. But I don't know. I got to get tougher skin if I'm going to be in the game with like people like Gifted Hater or like fucking that Black Ninja guy.
Yeah, I was gonna say like I don't want to throw salt on the wounds, but I think like if you're one of your goals is like to be around forever and have sort of a like
Yeah.
legacy behind Bud, you're gonna have a lifetime of these kind of disappointments and sad
Yeah.
things happening to you, which sucks, but I guess that's inevitable. And I mean that's a decent price to pay for being able to do something you enjoy for many years. There are things that I want to keep up forever that constantly disappoint me, but I've kind of just come to terms with like that disappointment is almost good in a way because that means I'm still a part of this thing that I want to be a part of like year after year.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. I perhaps put a lot of weight on my approach with Bug because I do want to be in a position where, like I'm really helping out, and it's not like a burden on my end to like, do something, like it's just cool to see what other small brands are doing, and it doesn't have to be like such I don't know, an equation or like a system.
Yeah.
Like I like I said, like I do this because I really love it, but also like I don't make any money doing it and I'm in debt doing it, but like I don't really mind because I understood the consequences of doing it from a long ago, And I go back and forth on that feeling too, for sure. But I'm a human, you know what I mean? An emotional one too, which is pretty funny. And you know, I just I'm just down. I'm just down.
I mean, admittedly also emotional, so I like fully relate to everything you were saying. I like being emotional, but then you can be extra sensitive in certain things, and it's not always the best way you could be in these instances, but I think in the end, maybe it is the best way you could be. I also lately have kind of been like floating this belief that I mean, there's obviously exceptions to every rule, but I think for the most part, like if you're doing a small company or a small brand or a shop, like how it should be done, you almost aren't supposed to make money off it. It's a good like passion project, and you know it's like working when you look at the finances and you're kind of in the red. Doing nowhere fast cost me money and it used to bum me out, but then I flipped the way I thought and thought like this could be a good thing. Like maybe it's just supposed to benefit people, but it's not supposed to like make a ton of money. And ever since I kind of instilled that in myself, I've almost been like more comfortable with all of it going forward.
That's awesome. Yeah, like it sounds like you have like a good thing going. And it's like really impressive to be 171 episodes in. Like, that's a huge feat. And I'm stoked for you. Like that's amazing, you know?
Thank you. Um, I feel like maybe we talked about your band and schooling a bit too much at the beginning, although I loved it and that's kind of the point of these talks, but I realize I'm probably keeping you for way longer than I said I would, so I could
Dude, you're fine. If you have more questions, please, like I set this time out for you, Wes, because I wanted to just chat with you.
yeah, I mean I obviously could sit I can think of stuff to ask people for days and days on end. And as I talk to people, like the longer the episodes get, the more stuff I think of to ask. But I think that, I mean, that's a great episode. I don't want to have it be too long and then people tune out after a while as well. So I think I'll keep it as it is. That I mean, that was really like actually a very enjoyable conversation. I think I learned a ton about you and the way you think and Bug and before Bug. But I mean, that being said, before we actually hop off, do you want to let anyone listening know where they can find you or Bug or whatever you want to promote right now? The mic is yours. Please do.
Um, right now, I think the best way to find Bug is through the Instagram, Bug Skateboards. Um, Currently, uh, trying to work out some next steps in terms of boards. It's been kind of tricky to figure out how to like make certain pivots at this time, but fuck, I guess this is my mic moment. Shit. Um, I don't know. I just am thankful for your time and the fact that you wanted to just ask me or just talk to me. It means a lot. Uh, I'm still trying to figure out how to run this board company, and I really care about it, and I really care about anyone who fucks with it. Um, if I offended anyone, fuck it. I'm sorry. Let's hug about it.
Yeah, I don't think anyone would be offended by any of the stuff you said. I mean, I guess it's not up to me to tell people what offends them or not, but I think that was a very uplifting, like positive, vulnerable at times talk. I think it was perfect. I don't think you said anything that could bother anyone. I mean, if you appreciate my time, I reciprocate that 1,000%. I really thank you for sitting down with me. I'm a huge fan of what you're doing. I'm glad Steven was able to set this up. I guess before we leave, shout out Steven Stefan, the GOAT.
Hell yeah. Big love to 500 pounds.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, Steven's the best. Thank you very much for all this. Enjoy the rest of your day. I don't know if you need it, but good luck with Bug in the future. And please keep in touch as well.
Amazing. Thank you so much for this opportunity. And I hope if I ever come out your way, we could get a coffee. Maybe talk some real shit, dude.
Yeah, of course. And vice versa. Like if I mean hopefully I am in Montreal at some point soon, and it would be great to have a coffee out there as well.
Please hit me up.
I will, for sure.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Have a good day.
Yeah, enjoy.
Peace.
Peace.